Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Hi, Kevin. Um, how's everything? Good evening to you guys out in the land where it's dark. Ah, hi, Jeffrey. How you doing? See, now this is Hong Kong and Shanghai. Shanghai, I've never visited before. Hong Kong, I have spent most of my time on Kowloon. Uh, And I would really, 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 really like to go back and visit more of China, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Hey, GMT Master and Chris. Yeah, no, I don't know. We got to, uh, Kevin, we got a similar problem. Not quite as bad though. Oh boy. Yesterday um, after we had our morning discussion, about 11 o'clock in the morning here, our time, uh, a bear came. A bear came to visit. I got this message from my wife on my iPhone saying, "There's a bear." Oh, great. So we went out, ran downstairs, and there was this bear. And he was, he was, just there looking for a snack. And now, normally, we expect the bears, at nighttime. We have My wife has all these bird feeders, and it's turned out not just to be a bird feeder, but a bird feeder, a squirrel feeder, a chipmunk feeder, you name it, and now a bear feeder. Well, we've had bears before, so that's nothing new. But usually we get them at night, and so we wake up the next morning and there's something with suet or something, and it's all bent into a little ball. So anyway, so it was a big deal, but not a big deal. No, I think the big deal was that we saw the guys. Took a bunch of pictures and everything, and so let me see if I can show you some bear pictures here. Where's my bear? There he is. Okay, this is. I don't know if you'd be able to see this or not. There's a bear that came to our backyard, and let's see if we got another picture of him. There he is. Um, so I thought, oh my God. So the thing of it was that I was all set to go out and mow the yard, and I had been procrastinating, and it turns out probably a good thing that I was. So after the bear left, I went out and mowed the yard. So yesterday afternoon, my wife was in the other room, and the bear had come up on the deck. We had these little, those little child barriers. We had had some left over, I think, when our grandkids were young, and so we brought them, or the dog. I forgot what we used them for, but now we sort of use them wherever. So we put the barriers up at the bottom and the top of the stairs. Well, the bear jumped over those and comes roaring up the stairs. And my wife's on the phone, and she's here's a bear. And so she said hello to the bear, and the bear saw her, and off it went. I was so anyway. So that was my big adventure yesterday. Oh, hey Javier, how you doing? Lee, good morning. Air Toad, how are you? Yeah, he's wearing a G-Shock. Yeah, it was. You remember the old comedian Don Knotts? The guy was always nervous about something. And I thought, what a winder that guy would be. Oh, oh, Chris, let's see. Still in Michigan, I have family and friends there. Oh, I'm glad everyone's catching up. Well, today, what I wanted to talk about is this morning's video on Healer's incredible collection. Uh, but it got me to thinking is that, here I see these watches that are just like, from the far side of the moon. They're beautiful, they're unusual, and they're pretty up there. Um, so we've got this, after looking at those things. Hi, Tom. And I thought, I know that Healer, in addition to having some of the really best watches, he also appreciates some very inexpensive ones. I mean, it's really funny. Some people get snobby about watches, even perhaps moi sometimes. And you think, wow, it's not this or it's not that. But then I realized is that some of the watches that I really like, I like them because they're unique and they're different, but they're not very expensive. Or in the case of my little Seiko 5, I've been using it a lot lately. And I was looking at it, and it's got a day date on it. It's got a center second, and it's totally automatic, even though I prefer the hand wound, like on my this is the seventh day, by the way, that I've worn my 7-day Endeavor. All right, so this little guy, it turns out also that you really can't wind it up. I mean, it doesn't. This doesn't wind. It's for setting time and date, and it does a good job of that. And but on the other hand, if I get up in the morning and give it a little shake, boy, that thing is off and running for as long as I have it on. And it's a tough little guy. My arm is all chingered up from running into blackberry bushes and other things out in the yard. I didn't do any yard. And I said, I'm going to be wearing this thing a lot this summer. And if I go to some place that might get it wet or might get it banged around, this is sort of like not a G-Shock, but as far as I'm concerned, it's I don't need a G-Shock if I got my little Seiko 5. And then Seiko 5 has a really interesting history going back. Now, this cost me under $100, brand new from, I think it was Long Island Watches or someplace like that. And I really enjoy it. And so I was thinking that, here I'm looking at some of Healer's, $500,000 watches, and they're wonderful, and I love them, and I appreciate this incredible craftsmanship. But then I thought about it. I thought, there are a lot of other things that we can appreciate in watches that aren't so expensive. And I have these little things that if I want to put a watch out, I don't know why I use them, but I do. And I got a few watches that I got, well, instead of putting them in the case, I'll just put them here. And the two watches that I usually have there are very inexpensive. This is my $200 regulator from an outfit in Hong Kong called Perpetual, $200. This one was a Maurice Lacroix with a 736 in it, and it was right around 1,000. It was not it's not cheap, but it's not crazy either. It's not like one of these guys. And I like these because I collect the movements. And why do I collect the movements? It's not that I don't know if they're hand beveled or not. I don't think so. But they're unusual, and I still haven't figured out exactly what is the base movement of this. Then, of course, the history of, I think it's Jean somebody. I always forget his name, but the Jacquet, who did this. I forget his first name. I know his last name. Let's see if I have it right here. Hang on a sec. It's done now. See, nope. I always forget what's Jean Jacquet's first name. It's Jean? It's one of the double first name. But anyway, this guy has this wonderful movement that I don't think he I think he took an ibose from something else, made a shape movement with it, and it's in some very expensive watches. The RGM watches that have the 736 in it are very expensive, but this one, not so much. And here's, I guess, the thing, the point that I thought worth discussing with you guys and getting some information. Hi, Clyde. Hi, Blaine. Hi, Captain. Is that, what are some watches you have? They're not really expensive watches that you appreciate for something other than the fact that they're highly advertised, that everybody has one or this or the other thing. But what is it that sort of endears you to them? And I thought, that might be an interesting thing. Um, so guys, so what's up? Hey, Clyde, I was just talking about this is our little bit of sanity. I was just talking about the bear that we had visited us yesterday. And that's all the sanity we get. Oh man. Some of my inexpensive watches have very good memories. That's another thing, Blaine. That's a great point. That is such a good point. You can have a good watch, you can have a great event or memory or something happen or something fun or funny, and the watch is associated with it. And that's another reason that any watch can be really a lot of fun. Uh, oh, let's see. I never. Hey, Jeffrey. Uh, oh, hey, man, you got a good beard going yourself there. Oh man. Uh, Taiwan. Hey, Chris. You're in Taiwan, just outside of Taipei. Oh, how cool. Sun fried Clyde. I look sun fried myself. I've been out doing yard work. My wife gave me a G-Shock prior to spending a year in Afghanistan. Both of us made it back in one piece. It still runs perfectly. Wow, uh, that is a great story, Blaine. I like that. My dad, who was a pilot in World War II and the Korean War, his watches. My brother ended up with them, but after I looked at them, they weren't as interesting as I thought. That's okay though. But that's a neat thing. Um, does Tazil have a YouTube channel? He seems very watch smart. Let's see. Anyone had any experience with the Sin 903 nav timer? I don't know. Let's see. If there's anybody from the German watch group here, they probably have. Um, Jeffrey, I have a very cool Christopher Ward C65 retro style diver. It cost me about $700. Nice watch. That Christopher Ward's got those Morgan watches, and if I got my mitts on one of those Morgan watches, I'd make a very happy memory out of that very quickly. If I had a Morgan, I'd make it even quicker. Anyway, so what are some other watches that you say, okay, now this is not an expensive watch, but it's really a watch that I've come to appreciate either because of an experience with it or because there's something cool about it that other people overlook. Uh, you guys have what? Let's see. Anyone? Let's see. Hey, Clyde, pound for pound, my 40 Fonny Flieger Wilson watches Observer with a 6498 is the best of the bunch. Yeah. This is something those 6498s, and especially, some of the ones from German watchmakers like Turby, and there's some other ones too that they just do these amazing things. This was another thing is that you can put really great craftsmanship, especially engraving and finishing craftsmanship, on an inexpensive movement. You don't need a super expensive movement to do really skilled work. Um, there's this guy in China, I forget his name, and he's got this incredible talent. He's an older guy, not older than me. I mean, he's not dead, but he puts together these really cool watches, and it just something like that I'd like to have. Ahsoka apparently has been designing watches, and then he has this other company put a Myota or something like that in it, and then sells them to sort of his gift to the lumpen proletariat, I guess. And everybody gets kind of something real affordable, and then they go out and they sell them for three times the price they had. I hate him. Oh, okay, Tim, I get it. Uh, oh, let's see. Fahrenheit, how you doing? A war watch is something very special. Mine is the SKX. There was a very famous war watch in what was the name of that film? Pulp Fiction. Hey, Sean, how you doing? I'm waiting for Walmart to tell me the gallon jug of what Oliver is ready. Oh, see, what are your thoughts about the new Grand Seiko movement with free sprung balance and dual impulse escapement? I'm hoping they'll use it in there in a 4 hertz movement. Well, it's really funny. I can appreciate the engineering behind the everything that Grand Seiko does with the spring drive and variations on the spring drive. But somehow I just can't warm up to them. I mean, I can't. It's a quartz, um, but it's like sort of a quartz that was sort of like a long story. You go through all of this great movements and things like that, but at the end of the story, there's a quartz. Put it that way. That doesn't mean that there's not a lot to appreciate about that watch. If a person, let's say, goes to work and they need a watch that keeps good time, and they need a watch that is, a good looking watch. They're beautiful watches, and I think it'd be hard to beat a Grand Seiko spring drive because they're so accurate and because they're quartz watches, but they don't sort of exactly look like a quartz watch. Um, what they're really great watches as far as the environment's concerned because they don't use a battery that will eventually turn into acid rain. And so there are a lot of good things about it like that. In the same way that I appreciate the FP Journe Elegante, the difference is this is that FP Journe from soup to nuts, it's a quartz watch. I mean, there's nothing that makes it not a quartz watch, but it does have an interesting innovation for a quartz watch, and that is this little spinning thing that works like a rotor that when you stop, it stops the major force of the battery. Now, the whole idea originally was to have one of such a battery last 50 years, which is pretty impressive. And it's also a movement that he made from the ground up. Still a quartz, though. It's there are two ways to look at it. It's still an FP Journe or it's still a quartz. You can appreciate any of them, and but they're not exactly cheap, either one of them. And I think what you have with a watch that, like what you guys mentioned, having one with a war story, or or having the only thing you got out of a divorce was a Seiko 5, something like that. There are all kinds of things that people have stories about. My A11 is a watch that won World War II. That's right. Hey, Junior. Hey, Crappy. How's it going? Hi, Lee. Oh, yeah. I Summer is sort of here, I guess. It's really still. Well, I guess tomorrow's Memorial Day, and between Memorial Day and Labor Day, I can wear my white linen suit. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I don't. I've got no place to go. I don't get invited to soirees where they wear white linen suits, and I wouldn't get on a cruise ship, which is sort of like uh, a COVID-19 breeding, a floating breeding ground. As much as I love going on cruises, so anyway, uh, I'll be back on the lawn tractor shortly. Oh, um, my DH were stripped from the waste of dead Nazis on the Western Front. Okay, I think FPJ had to make his courts run forever with a case that only his shop could open up. Maybe that's right too. I don't know. Come to think of it, I don't know how you'd. I wouldn't take my watches down to one of those butchers at the mall who figured out how to open up a case. Instead of using case tools, instead of using a case tool or or see what is that case tool or a spring bar tool or anything like that, they have a case knife and they use a case knife for everything. it's I shudder to watch them work on a watch, but they pop the thing open and hope that they haven't lost any of the rubber seals or anything like that. Take out the old battery, put it in a new one, and charge an arm and a leg for it. Uh, Elegante 48s are selling pre-owned over retail in some cases. Yeah, everything with FP Journe does that. I, you know, I do like I like Spring Drives and I like Elegantes, but there are other watches that I got on my list that are way higher near the top. And since I'm retired, I need if I wouldn't know what to do with probably either one of them. There's only one reason to wear a white linen suit, threatening Humphrey Bogart. Oh, no, it's on me. It's more Sydney Greenstreet, Clyde. Hey, Javier, the bear might mistake you for a certain colonel. I think, hey, there's a sunburned Colonel Sanders. I'll think I'll have a snack. What I'll do, I have protection against bears. I'll tell my wife he's a watch salesman. He'll get run off with a broom. That'll be the end of the bear. Oh, let's see. Um, yeah, go out there with that was the point. Okay. Oh, geez. Well, I've been. I had a watch I was really interested in, and I've been sort of trying to figure out whether the people, it's a shop that was introduced to, and out on the West Coast somewhere. And I'm not sure. It's one of those places I'm just not sure about. But I was trying to begin a negotiation with them, and the next thing I know, the watch sold. So that's like, oh, rats. But it's happened. I got this one when the one that I wanted they wouldn't sell me, and this one I like better. So you end up with that's the way I look at it. There are plenty of watches to want out there, and if you don't get one for what you want to pay for it, there's always another one. And so I use that so that I don't get overly excited in a purchasing negotiation. Some people think this is the last one on the face of the earth, and if I don't get it at this guy's price, I'll never see another one. Not probably not true. There's always the last best bargain hasn't been made yet. Did you hire that bear to protect your watches? Well, yeah, there's that too. But he wants to wear a Rolex. Maybe I'll try to pawn off a GMT on him. Tell him this one is tougher. The biggest thing to remember when confronting a bear is no honeycomb dial. Yeah. Well, this bear is he's a funny bear. He was out there and he decided he couldn't get my wife put the suet up too high, and so he couldn't get it. So he decides to go up the stairs. So he's going up the stairs, and my wife opened the door. Hey, bear! And the bear saw her. And thought, holy smokes! I'm out of here. So he goes running away. So then later on this afternoon, he came back, and my wife had this. I think it was made by the same people who make safes. It's a red birdhouse shaped feeder, and she was concerned about the squirrels eating all this all of the bird food, and they do. And so she made sure they have this and have all these things. And the squirrels, I swear to God, they're acrobats. They can get to anything. So she had that thing all mixed up. The bear goes and breaks it, and her squirrel proof got mangled. So anyway, that's it's these are things that are sort of fun. Japanese watch. What do you think of Ahsoka? Um, Ahsoka and Seiko. That's what I think of. I'm beginning to think of Ahsoka first. Another Japanese company, Minas, is now making their own movements. Oh, okay, that's interesting, Blaine. It's called Minas, Minase. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Tim, Neyo Neyo watch. Wow, geez. Sounds like the bear is smarter than the no kidding. He's, bears don't have to be smart. What they are is that they're big and they grab stuff and hi Hans, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Fahrenheit, what's up? A friend of mine owns a Sin nav timer. He's very satisfied. Then again, any Sin is a good watch, especially if you like the design. I know you guys know Darius. Darius Li. I guess it's pronounced Lee. Anyway, Darius has been trying to get me to get a Sin for a long, long time. And maybe if the right one comes along at the right time, I will. But I can't remember anyone saying, "Oh, I got a Sin. It was really a crummy watch." So, that's another watch that you take a look at. No, Blaine, I don't think Clyde has dyslexia. He's been trying to get it, but he's never able to quite get it just right. Let's see. All right. Just about time. I gotta run. But tell me just one last thing. If you could recommend one watch that was very affordable, and by affordable, say we'll make it easy. It's under 1,000. Well, let's make it under 500, even better. What one watch you say under 500 bucks is really a neat piece of horology. No quartz. Okay, this is just for a mechanical watch. What watch would you say? The attack codes. Oh man, we had to call our neighbor about the bears. When the bears come out and stuff, we tell her about the goats. Make sure. I don't think a bear eats the goats. They, I don't know, the goats. The goats. Imagine the goats are very cool. Sort of like the old. Remember fawns on a happy day? That's the goats. They're just super cool about everything. Hey ZL, probably going to go with Seiko Sumo. That sounds like a good one. I used Oris, but it would have to be an SW on it. I'm sure can't be used. True Junior. It's got to be a new watch that you can get for under $500. I've got lots of watches that I could recommend. Two right in front of me are my perpetual regulator. It's $200. And my Seiko, which is under $100, Seiko 5. And this is the original Seiko 5. They're a little smaller, but they have all of the gizmos of the other one. SWAT System 51. That's an interesting one, Crappy. It is a mechanical watch, and my only problem with those things, you can't open them up. Well, you can, but not too good for them. Why don't bears eat clowns? They taste funny. Oh, geez. Well, I, I won't tell you who is safe from bears in that case. Seiko Save the Ocean Diver, day date in English, kanji. Oh, okay, Blaine, that sounds like a good one. That sounds like a really good one. Some Hamilton field watches are quite nice. Yeah, I like the Hamilton khakis. Some of those, I think they may be under 500 or right around there. I think those are really good choices. And some of the, I think, I don't know if Tourby and those guys have any under 500 or not. What? What? Where were you yesterday? Hey, Javier, Tissot luxury chronometer. Yeah, Javier, that's another great one. No, it didn't go. Thought about it, but nah. I don't know where you guys are talking about. Well, listen, hey, Junior, a Seagull 1963. Exactly. That's a great one. That's a really interesting one, too. Good old Seagulls. Missouri, getting sun-broiled in my convertible. Oh, you went to Missouri, and you came back as a red state red, huh? Let's see. How am I supposed to know that? I don't know. Okay, well, look, guys, got to run. Thanks all for coming. Be safe. Wash your hands, and try not to remember the only way that COVID-19 can travel is by coughs and things like that. They don't have legs or wings, so take care.